Hello, everyone. Welcome to our latest edition of SuperNova Commencements. I am your host, Kashi Sehgal. We are super excited to have you today. Congratulations to all our graduates. I think people have graduated by now, or if not, your graduation is soon. So we're very happy you've joined us today for an additional graduation speaker. We have a great guest today, and it's going to be really interesting. And if you didn't know, you are celebrating another day with us today. It is National Streaming Day. That is a thing. So we're very happy that you are here streaming live with us. Let's talk about our data segment but on your career powered through data. And this is brought to us by our partners at Steppingblocks. Today, we are talking about immigration law, something very much in the news right now and very topical. So let's talk about this. The most common educational background for a career in immigration law is a degree in law. That makes sense. There's about 13,000 people specifically working in this field, although in the field of law and people that touch this industry, maybe from afar, there's more. The average age of the industry is 41, and it's 61% female. Top skills: legal research, legal writing, litigation, and if you want to make a little extra money, you should go into corporate law, appeals, and international law. Top grad schools: University of Michigan, Georgetown, American, and my alma mater, George Washington University. So it's the triad in DC. So that's pretty cool. All right, that's a little bit of background. Now I want to bring our guest on screen. Hello, Pam.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So, students, let me introduce our guest. Pamela Peynado is attorney, and she's really a partner at Lee and Peynado Immigration Law Group. So we're going to talk today about the world of law, maybe a little bit about immigration, and her career. So Pamela, could you get us started and tell us where you are from, where you went to school, and what did you major in? Was it law or something else?
Great. Okay. Well, I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. I was born in the Dominican Republic, came here as a kid. I went to Georgia State University for undergrad, and then I went to Georgia State College of Law for law school.
Okay. So did you do law in undergrad?
So I did criminal justice.
Okay.
I was just so fascinated by it. I thought I wanted to maybe be a detective. Forensic Files is my favorite show. So I did criminal justice and I really, really enjoyed it. And I think, I'm glad I did. I thought I had to do criminal justice if I wanted to become a judge or an attorney or a detective. But in reality, you can do anything. You can do any major. You can do arts, guitar, whatever you love, because you want to enjoy the process and you want to graduate, right? And then after you graduate, you can go to law school with any degree.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Doing something that you really enjoy in undergrad, and it might even give you a different perspective on your law degree and career in a way that maybe somebody else doesn't have that perspective. So it could help you stand out.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes, I hear often, oh, I was pre-med, but I switched. I don't want to be a doctor anymore. And it's like, no, sometimes you can get discouraged, right? So if you are pre-law, criminal justice, political science, and you love it, like I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed going, to those classes, then wonderful. But if you don't enjoy that right now, but maybe you want to be an attorney later on or a judge or whatever, definitely major in whatever you want to major in, Spanish, French, I don't care. As long as you enjoy going to those classes, because law school will teach you how to become an attorney.
Totally.
In your college years, just try to enjoy it as much as possible.
That is great advice. We need to hear more of that. Okay. So you started as a paralegal. Actually, you started as a receptionist at the law firm, but you also became a paralegal. And you did that while you were in college. Can you tell us a little bit about what a paralegal does and why you started so young?
Okay, so this is a little bit of a long story, but I just have to share it with you guys. So I was in undergrad at Georgia State. I was working at a diner, making very little money. And my coworker at the diner said, we have an opening at my law firm for a receptionist. We would love for you to come to the interview. So I'm like, I kind of want to be an attorney. I think I can. So I go to the interview. I interview with Mr. George Lee, and he says it's $8 an hour. I'm like, $8 an hour? What am I going to do with $8 an hour? Like, I have bills. So, something told me, just go ahead and take it. Like, focus on the experience. See if this is what you want to do for the rest of your life. And once I started working here, I had other jobs offering me 15, 16. One offered me $20 an hour. And I didn't let the money sway me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay here. I'm going to continue on this path. After I was a receptionist, answering phones, cleaning up the office, I'd work 70 hours a week. I'd love it. I love it so much. I got promoted to legal assistant. Legal assistant is where you assist the attorney with anything they need for their cases. So you do some research, you pull their files, you speak to their clients. Then I became, I guess, good at that. And then I got promoted to a paralegal. And a paralegal is someone who basically does everything for the cases, right? And I hate to say this, but paralegals do more on the cases than the attorneys, right? Because they put together all the petitions, they put together the motions, and then the attorney adds the final touches and make sure everything is perfect according to how the attorney wants it. But the paralegal does all the grunt work. So, I went from receptionist to legal assistant to senior legal assistant to finally paralegal. And after 10 years at the firm, once I graduated law school, then I became a partner at the firm.
So would you say, I guess, that being a paralegal really prepares you for being a lawyer? Maybe that's a good internship, or can you get an internship as a paralegal?
No. So I will not give anyone an internship in a paralegal because it's a very serious position, right? You're preparing all of these packets that are going to go to court. You're putting exhibits together, getting the file ready. What I would tell all of the young kids is get in the room, figure out a way. If you want to be an attorney, I remember meeting a powerhouse attorney who I wanted to be like. And I said to her, I will clean your office. I will babysit your children. I just want to be around you, right? Like I want to be in the room. And by me offering to want to be there, again, don't think about the money. Think about long-term goal and think about what you want to learn. I've learned so much from her. And she's the one that gave me the best advice as an attorney. And she's still my mentor to this day. But I would say, for college students, get an internship doing anything that the attorney wants you to do. Making copies, cleaning the office, putting stuff together, anything at all. If you can get in the door, then you can climb your way up.
That's a little bit of Hamilton advice right there in the room where it happened, right?
That's exactly what it is. I need that music to play right now.
That's right. We'll key it up post-show. You worked, obviously, through your college career. You mentioned the diner, you were a receptionist, then you became paralegal. It takes a lot to work and go to school at the same time. How did you manage that?
Looking back, you just kind of do what you have to do, right? Like we just didn't have any money. And I know I needed money and I wanted the experience as well. So it definitely wasn't easy. I missed out on a lot of friends and parties and all the fun stuff that goes along with it. But I think I got to where I wanted to be a lot earlier in life because I did what I had to do a lot earlier in life. So it was tough, but it's definitely doable.
Do you think you took some of those lessons with you to where you are today from like balancing all of the work and school together?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when I was in law school, I did mock trial, which I loved very much. And if any college student right now is interested in mock trial, please do it if you want to be an attorney. If you go to law school, please do mock trials, the best thing ever. But it requires a lot of time. So while I was in law school, very tough, I was in mock trial and I was also working. And I used to tell myself, when I become an attorney, my life is going to be a breeze because I'm not going to have mock trial and I'm not going to, be doing three things that require a lot of your time. But now as an attorney, I literally have like zero time. Like you never get unbusy. You just add more stuff to your plate in a different way. And it teaches you how to manage so many different hats and still like, oh, this is a breeze. I can do it. I can do a million things because I've done it,
You train yourself early.
Got to do it.
So you became a partner very young. Most people, it's like 10 plus years before they get to that point. So could you walk us through how that happened? How did you go from receptionist to partner? And what does it actually mean to be a partner at a law firm?
Ooh, okay. So that is definitely something I'm extremely proud of. Until it's been maybe 5-6 years and I still cannot believe it. Like I'm a partner, I'm an owner. But I think you have to do the hard work. I have a lot of young ladies, they come up to me and they say, I want to be partner. I want to do this. I want to be an owner of a law firm. And they always say, I want to be where you're at. And I always tell them, well, are you willing to do what I did? Right? Like you see it now and you see, a lifestyle, right? Where I can travel, I have employees, I can afford certain things. But there was a time when, I was working 12, 14 hours a day, sometimes not paid, right? And I think once you prove yourself, that's the number one thing. You can, and I admire people who go to a job interview and say, I want 100K, right? Let's say. I'm one of those people that I feel like I have to prove myself, right? And I believe that if you prove yourself, then you can come back and ask for $1 million, because you've already proven your worth. And by me being the receptionist that I was, by me being the legal assistant that I was, the paralegal that I was, once I graduated law school, I had a meeting with that female lawyer mentor that I was telling you guys about. This is why mentors are so important, because I was going to talk to my boss and ask him for a 6-figure salary, right? That was my dream. I just want to be rich, right? I met with that female mentor that I begged her that I would clean her house, do everything. And she said to me, Pam, you should ask for partnership, equity partner. That's how you make money. I said, what? I don't even know what that's kind of a dream, but I don't think he's going to do it. And she said, ask for equity partnership, ask for this salary, ask for 50%, ask for the name change. And then when I went to the meeting with my boss then and my partner now, he said, okay, anything else? Right. And it's like, oh my gosh, it worked. Like I would have never came up with this had she not taken the time to take me out and give me her knowledge as a seasoned attorney and what she believed I was worth. And he said, I will give you whatever you want because you've proved yourself. I can't basically be without you at this point. So I think that's how I was able to do it, just by being, giving 100% to every role, no matter what it is.
That is such a key point. No matter what you're doing, be excellent. And the second point you just made, if you don't ask, they can't say yes.
Exactly.
They
And if you
can't say
don't know,
no, but you haven't taken the shot, right? It's a 50-50 chance.
it's a 50-50 chance. And if you don't know, like I literally did not know about shareholders and, the profit margin. I knew nothing about that. Like I said, my family was very poor. We had no lawyers in the family. So for my mentor to take the time and say, hold on, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did. This is the way that you go. And then for my boss to appreciate me enough to put me in a place where I can succeed and where I can be, where I want it to be. It still feels like a dream, honestly. I still feel like, what am I doing here? Like, how did I get here?
Yeah, I get that. All right. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about immigration. It's a pretty tough field to be in, especially right now. How has the last, I would say, several years, maybe 8 years, how has the last several, like the decade, shifted the way immigration is handled and your viewpoint on how to help people?
Oh, okay. So immigration, extremely dear to me. I'm an immigrant. My uncle was in deportation proceedings. My stepfather was deported. So it's super personal, right? And when I started working at this law firm, I didn't realize that this was going to be like my passion, like my life purpose. When I started working here about 15 years ago, they never hired anyone that spoke Spanish. We didn't have that many Spanish clients. It was mostly corporate, which we still do, but it was mostly corporate citizenship. Then as the years went on, there was a shift where it was like majority Spanish, majority deportation cases. Under the Obama administration, the deportation cases went through the roof. Then under the Trump administration, the deportation of non-criminals went through the roof. So it's like every other day there were new policies, people were panicking, there were raids, right? That my client would say, ICE is at my door right now, what do I do? It was just a constant panic and anxiety for immigration attorneys and immigrants. Now, under the Biden administration, we're seeing again a shift, right? Because it's federal law. So it all depends on who's in the White House. And under the Biden administration, we're noticing that things, they're trying to turn a more humane treatment of the immigrant population, not so much of that fear mongering, right? Of the words that were being used in the past. But it's still very chaotic and just the uncertainty of a lot of my clients. It's a very stressful job. So you have to love it every day.
Do you feel like you got lucky because you stumbled into a job that you loved? Or like, would you have done something else?
Oh my gosh. So I wanted to be a judge. Like that was always a dream, always. But I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be a judge. And, if we can be candid, I'm like, I'm not a man, I'm like silly. My English sometimes messes with me. So I never thought that it was possible. And I felt, okay, maybe I can be a detective or maybe I can be like a sports agent, anything. And like you said, I think luck played a very big part. And I believe in alignment. Like you're placed in positions for a reason. And you just got to make the best of those situations. And for my coworker at the diner to invite me to work at this law firm, and then 15 years later, it's like I own it. Sort of like I still don't get used to it. I still feel like that kid that was working as a receptionist, trying to prove a point, like trying to outwork everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely think I'm very lucky.
So you have racked up a ton of awards. You've been on TV and you're asked to comment on things and you're on boards and part of important councils. I mean, you're doing all this amazing work and being recognized for it. How do you make yourself stand out as a person in your field? or any field really, what do you need to do to make yourself stand out? And then what should students start to internalize about that and put into practice so that they're better at it by the time they're in their careers?
So I think you have to be, number one, prepared for anything. Always be over prepared. You must always be the most prepared person in the room because it builds confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know about you guys, but when I was in college, I would wing things, right? I'm like, oh, I have a test tomorrow. I'll figure it out, right? But, I would say to focus and be prepared, right? It starts early. If you don't do it in college, at least do it in law school. Definitely do it when you become an attorney. Always be the most prepared person in the room because I'm telling you, you're going to walk in there differently. Like no one can hit me with anything that's going to blindside me. Number two, I would say be very passionate. Don't do anything in this life that you are not passionate about. Don't do it because it's a waste of time. If it doesn't get you excited, if you wouldn't do it for free, right? Then just don't waste your life doing it because you're not going to enjoy it. You're going to be miserable and you're not going to be good at it, right? And then number three, I would always tell students to try to stand out, right? Why are you in this room, right? Like, why shouldn't someone else be in this position? What are you doing differently that's going to move the world or this case or this client that's going to change their lives? Why you? And in any commission that I'm in, for the most part, I'm the only female, I'm the only immigrant. And I feel like I gotta do it for the entire community, right? Like I gotta be in that room and make sure that that community's voice is heard. So always step in a room overly prepared, very passionate, and know that you are there for a reason, right? If you are just there taking up space and you're not contributing to the conversation or to the movement, then let somebody else be there that's going to take advantage of that opportunity. Yeah. Whatever it is. It could be working at Chick-fil-A. It could be being a receptionist. Somebody else can do that job as well. What are you contributing to make it better?
Such a great point. Make the most of your opportunities or let someone else make the most of the opportunity. Yeah. Okay. So Pam, I think we're going to switch to student questions. We've got a ton of them coming in and only so much time. So let's start with, let's just go down the list. Anne wants to know what surprises you the most about your job?
What surprises me the most about my job? I think the good, I think is, sometimes I win cases and I'm like, how in the world did this happen? Like I get surprised a lot. And I always tell students and lawyers, refuse to be denied. If somebody tells you no, keep asking, don't stop, don't shut up, right? Somebody has to give in and it's not going to be you. And sometimes I win cases and I'm like, wow, I get really surprised. And also the lack of empathy and sympathy from some people, right? When you speak to them and you think that they get it and then they come back to you and they're talking about certain races, and these can be judges, prosecutors, and the things that come out of their mouth. And I'm just like, I respected you, like I believed you were a decent human being, but the things that are coming out of your mouth. So be ready for that. And I guess it shouldn't surprise you, but it does to me every time.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one. Related, Jonathan would like to know, what is virtual court like? Did you have to do virtual?
Yes, we had virtual courts for our criminal cases dealing with our immigrant clients. We did have also telephonic hearings. We had very limited access to our clients, like we couldn't go visit them, of course, because of the pandemic. It took a lot of adjusting. Like, I'm so used to going to court in person, bringing the files. And sometimes when you're on video, they're like, and you're like, wait, I still got something to say. And they'll cut you off. They'll take off your screen. But if you're in person, you can make that argument and you can say, I'm not leaving until, I'm heard. So it was a big adjustment. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, nothing replaces in pretty much any situation in-person contact and conversation. Julia wants to know, how do you stay motivated to keep fighting for people instead of letting it weigh you down?
That is such a good question, because that is one thing that I see a lot of my colleagues suffering from depression. They don't really enjoy it, because I could be very happy and excited right now, but we have cases that make me cry, right? There's been losses that can weigh heavily. And you really have to say, I've done the best that I possibly could. No one else could have done a better job. And now I got to fight for someone else, right? You have to have that mentality. And you just have to keep going, because so many people need you. And if you let it weigh you down, then you're doing a disservice to the rest of your clients. And one thing is, if I lose, I'm going to keep fighting. So to me, it's never like a complete loss, unless obviously somebody passes away. That to me is a time of complete loss. But while they're alive, we're going to keep fighting for them.
Mm-hmm. Marcus wants to know, what would you do if you were not a lawyer?
What would I do if I was not a lawyer? Maybe I'd be.
She'd be on CSI, right?
On CSI. I think I'd love to talk to children and teens. I'd love that. I think that's how you make change for real. So I'd probably be doing this.
Yeah. There you go. She's starting here. She might take on a second career.
I love this stuff.
All right. So John wants to know, what is the biggest lesson you've learned in life to date? And what do you wish you had learned earlier?
Okay, that's good. So the biggest and best lesson is refuse to be denied. And I carry that with me in everything that I do. I will not be denied. Whatever I want will happen, right? Whatever outcome and it may take me, instead of 3 months, it may take me 3 decades. But you have to refuse to be denied and be relentless. Something that I wish I would have learned earlier is that relationships are everything. Relationships will get you into rooms that you have no business in, that there's no way you could have been in. So I think I would have formed more relationships earlier, and I would have been, I was so focused on work, right? As a college student, working as a diner, working here. I wish I would have looked at people when they talk to me and gotten to know them earlier, right? And been a lot more kind and personable, because those relationships later on, that's going to be the judge that's going to hear your case, right? That's going to be someone that's going to put you in a position to succeed. So I would say, be as nice to everyone. Don't burn any bridge, and build those relationships as early as possible with everyone you come across, because you never know later on, right? They can be the employer that you're trying to get a job from.
How do you do that when you're in college and you're so busy working and going to school? How do you make time to also then build relationships?
I think it's just taking it kind of day by day, right? So if you're in class, being intentional about it, because it's so easy to just put your head down, be self-centered and say, I got to get through this. I got to get through this A. But I promise you, no one cares about, and I hate to say this because I'm a very big advocate on grades, but no one asks you, what's your college GPA? Even though all of you guys should get a 4.0, all right? But no one asks you that. But someone can say, oh, I've known her since college and she's always been honest, and she's always been kind, and she's always given a lot. So if she's asking me for a favor now, right, why wouldn't I do this for her? And it's developing those relationships as early as possible, because once you become an attorney, you're going to ask for a lot of favors, and people are going to be like, of course you're asking me for a job. Of course you're asking me for this. And the answer is no. But as a college student, as a high school student, as a law student, you can ask for anything, and you can, and people are going to say yes to you. So use this time to get to know as many people as possible, and that's definitely going to elevate you.
Okay. Good advice. Brandy is going to be a sophomore next year. She wants to know, she wants to become a lawyer, and she wants to know, she says, since I have to pick a major next year, what is the best one to prepare me?
So please pick the major that you love. Nothing is going to, I hate to say this, nothing is going to prepare you for law school. Law school is something that no one can prepare you for. And then, most importantly, you take the bar exam after law school, and nothing can prepare you for the bar exam, not even law school. And then nothing can prepare you to be an attorney, right? But the thing is, you have to enjoy every step. So if you love criminal justice, that was my major, I loved it, right? I couldn't have done math and, biochemistry. I can't do all that. But I loved criminal justice. I love the law. I love principles of investigations and all that. So if you want something to prepare you and you want to be miserable, go the pre-law route, maybe journalism so you can write, but then law school is going to teach you how to write completely differently. So my advice goes back, do something that you love. What do you love? Major in that, do well, study for the LSAT, prepare for the LSAT, and that's what's going to get you into law school. Be disciplined in everything, and that's the best advice to prepare you for law school. Be disciplined.
Good advice. We talked about this a little bit. Sophia wants to know, who are your mentors? You mentioned one of them.
Yes, so I have so many mentors. One being my partner, George, really took me under his wing as a receptionist, taught me how to write a letter, my mentor, female powerhouse mentor, C.K. Hoffler, one of the greatest trial lawyers of this generation, really took me under her wing. And I had her speak at one of my events, and she said her goal is that whatever she encountered in 1988 or whenever, 1990, she can share with me so that I don't have to encounter it ever. And that's why it's so important to have mentors, because we've been through all the stuff that you guys are going through now. And we can tell you how we addressed it, what we did. That way you don't have to go through what we went through. And I think having mentors is number one most important thing that you can do at this stage.
All right, last question. Muriel would like to know, how do you balance personal time with demands from your job and other commitments?
Good question as well. So if you're going to be an attorney, being an attorney is going to be your life. Like, you're going to be an attorney 24/7. Clients are going to want access to you. They're not going to say it's 5 p.m., so let me leave her alone. No. They're going to want to know about their case at 11 p.m. And if you don't respond quickly, they're going to say, hello, like, did you not get my email? So again, you have to really love it. And when you love it, all that stress and all that anxiety, it just becomes part of it. And I would say to always put yourself as a priority. Aside from being an attorney, who are you? Because I'm telling you, I got lost in the beginning. When I was an attorney, I felt like that's all I am, is an attorney. That's my whole life. But it's not. I love to sing. I love to go to concerts. There are so many other things that are a part of me that I enjoy. And you have to fit in that personal time. I would recommend everyone work out, take some time, to spend, travel, be with friends. But you have to be very intentional about it. Otherwise, being a lawyer becomes so overwhelming and takes over your entire life. Next thing you know, you look up and it's all you've ever done. You've done nothing else but be an exceptional attorney. And I think there's so much more to all of us than our profession.
That is a great way to end. What a great piece of advice. And if you keep your interests up and you stay involved in them, then it also makes you relatable to other people. And that's how you build relationships, which is the other thing that Pam said. So it all works together.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're out of time for today. And you know that you can find our schedule, upcoming speakers, past speakers, this show. It's all on our website, supernovacommence.com. You can also find us on all the sites. We make it easy, Supernova Commencements, at Supernova Commencements. And we want you to share your graduation stories, your successes, everything going on with you these days. So please reach out. Next week, we have Jay Bailey, who is president and CEO of the H.J. Russell Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. It's doing amazing things here in Atlanta for entrepreneurship. So we're going to talk to Jay. Pam, thank you so much again for being here. Do you have any closing thoughts for our students?
Just guys, just refuse to be denied. Like my mentor tells me, find passion, find excitement, right? Go through life with excitement. Try to find what makes you happy, and just be nice to people. Like it definitely pays off. And that's it. And anything I can do, definitely feel free to contact me. I'm in Instagram, Atlanta Immigration Lawyer. And I also have the Love Project 404, which we do mentor kids as well. That's our handle on Instagram as well. And however way that I can help you guys, please let me know.
We will link to both of those things in the show notes so you can easily find them, and to Pam so that you can easily find her and reach out. Students, have a great week. Happy graduation to some of you. Congratulations. Y'all are making summer plans. Please do something productive and make the most of that time. It's an opportunity to do something cool. And remember, it's a blessing to be a blessing. So, as Pam has said throughout this interview, be kind to people as you go through your day today and go through your week. Stay safe and healthy, and we will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.